Today we're going to one of the most amazing architectural structures I have ever seen. The Szombierki power station. And I know that's not how to pronounce it correctly. I'm sorry, I am not Polish. Construction on the site originates back to late World War I, when here was planned a munition production factory. This was at the time German territory. However, the war ended before this could be purposed, and it was repurposed as a coal-fired power station. It was operational from 1920 and only decommissioned a few decades ago. It is today regarded as a monument, and it should be, due to its architectural values alone. It is an amazing structure, and the largest of its type in Europe. The original owner was the Schaffcoach Bergwerksgesellschaft, GmbH. The structure itself is 120 meters high, and there's a striking clock tower in the center of the complex, not something you'd usually see in a power plant. It is one of the largest turret clocks in Poland. It's a four-sided Siemens and Halske clock. It was mounted on the power plant tower in 1925. It was then coupled to the 54 clocks operating inside the plant. It covers approximately 36,000 square meters, which is about 390,000 square feet, and about 900 people worked at its factory when it was at its peak. The structure itself was designed by German architects Georg and Emil Sillmann. The notable features of the design includes this very large hall, 2,800 square meters in itself, 30,000 square feet. And it also sprouted 320-meter tall chimneys, which are very hard to miss. By the time of World War II, the plant had a capacity of 100 megawatts. After the war, where it sustained some damage, it was quickly rebuilt and operating at a similar capacity from the 1950s. The Szombierki power plant was one of the largest in Europe. I know I'm butchering the name, I just know it. In the 1970s, the power plant was converted from a thermal power station to a combined heat and power plant. It was continuously modernized all the way up till the mid-1990s. Since then, the power plant had been operating at a significant reduced capacity, used primarily as a reserve power plant. It is considered an industrial monument, a part of the trail of monuments of engineerings in the Silesian Voivodeship. It was voted as one of the 7 architectural wonders of Silesia. As in 2013, the structure have officially been classified as a monument by the government of Poland. Since the mid-1990s, it has since hosted a number of cultural events, until 2011, when it was acquired by the Finnish company Bytom.
Because it didn't look very big for a gigantic factory.
The power plant was envisaged not only to be an industrial plant, but also a monumental symbol of modernism, a cathedral of sorts of the industrial age, hence the representative form that gives one associations to a church building or fortress. The offices in the style of early modernism, the bold vaults made of steel and lark wood, and the most modern machinery of its day. And its coronation were more than 20 boilers and electrical turbines. After 1939, the plant reached a capacity of 100 megawatts and thus became the largest power plant in Europe. And even the landscape surrounding the factory have masterfully been designed to complement the huge building with its bell tower.
Isn't there? And of course, you would need a phone booth on every floor because everything would be incredibly loud. So you'd have to be able to shut yourself in so you could hear what they say on the other end. Whereas this is the conveyor belt where the coal would run and be distributed to the burners. Way down here. Well, they should, because it's not going anywhere unless you don't do anything about it.
Originally, construction had started and intended as an explosive factory. This was then, of course, adjusted for the power plant, but it does explain some of the heavy construction, which is typical for military buildings from that time. But the architectural design and the details are amazing, especially on such a large scale. When I say power plant, most people would never really associate it with something this decorative, ornate, and elaborate. But here we are.
Sure.
Yeah. Because my camera in phone is much better than.
Now watch your step. Right behind me is a ditch.
Yes. She told me that this underground it's something like a maze. You know. But it's interesting, and background is also really interesting. This is really awesome. Helmet.
Good steps, metal ones, everything.
I think I'm really happy. See this? So they let electricity to power plant, yes? That's right?
Screw it up. Yep.
You know, which I mean, this officer's house.
And if it's not enough, the huge power plant building, there's also the very elaborate office buildings attached to it, with its marble staircase leading to the offices, and even stained glass panes. No expenses were spared here. I mean, how many power plants exactly have you seen, which have its own ballroom? And for those of you who care to explore a place like this, don't try to sneak in. You really don't have to. First of all, there are cameras everywhere and they are being watched. But you don't need to, because before the site begins a possible reconstruction into a cultural building of sorts, as one can imagine in Europe they might do, I think if you like exploring, go there, knock on the back door, ask the security nicely. That's all you need to do. But you better hurry up, because things have a tendency of changing with these beautiful buildings once somebody decides to turn them into an art museum. Behind me is Vanna von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Dybna's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.